Welcome to the AFCON review show on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Emmanuel Enin and I'm your host for today. Today we are going to review the 2023 AFCON. It's been an exciting tournament so far, and the major discussion will be the Black Stars, who are on the brink of early exit from the tournament. And if things doesn't go Black Stars' way today and tomorrow, it means that the Black Stars will be bidding their farewell to the AFCON at the group stage, and it will be their third consecutive group stage exit in their last three major tournaments. Today, I'm doing the discussion with Perez Ezwakao and Abrantepa, and we have a lot on the table to discuss. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? Yesterday, Black Stars threw away 2 goals, and it seems everything is in disarray.
So it's a mixed feeling, I should say. I was very disappointed at the way we played. The fact that since the beginning of the competition, in fact, even before the competition, we did not seem like a serious team. Let me just issue a disclaimer that I am not a sports expert. I watched the match like a soccer fan, and so these are the views, like what I feel. It did not seem as though we were ready. The qualifiers, some of the games, even the match with Namibia, the performance, it was not good. And then we had our first game. It was terrible. You know, the second game, that was a disaster. Yesterday's game was, is there any other word that, like, it was that bad? Yeah. The second game was against Egypt, right? Yeah. We're leading, they equalized. And then they equalized in the 68th minute, and then we scored, like 70th minute or so. Then all of a sudden, we gave a goal away. Like, and you see the mistakes that they commit at the defense. These are mistakes that you wouldn't expect.
Footballers.
Yeah, you know, like they were too elementary. You would not expect such mistakes from the team. And then going into the game with Mozambique. I mean, yes, for me, I thought that we had our destiny in our own hands, and that all we were waiting for was a win. And so even though we're not playing a good game and we had the penalty, of course, it's part of the game. There is a reason we had the rule. If the ball hits your hand, it's a penalty. So whether or not we're playing well, we had it. 2 goals, 90th minute. Then within 6 minutes, we concede 2 goals. And these are not my words. These are words from the players. They say silly mistakes. They say we consider stupid goals from Odoi and Kudus. You understand? So if you look at how we played, it didn't come to me as people who were serious. Like, because when the opponent gets the ball, you notice that they have a game plan. Like they actually want to score. I don't know what is it with Ghana. When we score, then we are relaxed. You are not playing anything. Then you have a goal, then you are relaxed. And so the feeling is, I was trying to understand why we were conceding goals like that. Who's a boy? Yes, you play, and they score you. So that one, but this one, we did not show any class. It was appalling. It was just not nice. But that is the side where it's upsetting, right? But I sit there and I'm laughing. it's not like I'm asking myself, what was Ofori doing the last goal? It's either you catch it or you let it go so that you go kick. Or if you think that there was a deflection, catch the ball. But like, I want to catch it. Then so when that moment reflects, then I'm laughing. Like it's so hilarious and annoying at the same time. because one, we're not playing as a team, we're not creating chances. And all the substitutions that the coach made, I don't know, you are the experts, but I think that whatever substitution that he made, it dipped our performance at every time.
We will come into the game proper and discuss it, so we'll get to vent everything.
I am boiling.
Perez, your general assessment of the tournament so far. People are, I mean, there have been VAR talks, there have been the goals catalogue, there have been the performances of some teams. Your general assessment of the tournament so far.
I think overall, 2023 AFCON will go down as one of the best. I think that in terms of the standard of play, there's been some remarkable improvement. There have been some great goals from players that you usually wouldn't expect to light up the tournament. Some of the stars have also come and given us reasons to be happy. Kudus, Mane, some have so far not performed. The likes of Mahrez and Co are yet to light up. Osimhen, for instance, I mean, has been absolutely disastrous in the 2 games that Nigeria has played so far. But some too have lighted up the tournament and given us reasons to be happy. The coverage has also been great. But I think what has stood out and made the tournament great so far has been the standard of officiating. It's been incredible. It's been near perfect. I mean, they are human beings, and even with VAR, they are going to make 1 or 2 errors. But when you look at, I have watched most of the games, perhaps 80% of the games, and I'm tempted to give almost every referee above 80, which shows you the level of quality in terms of officiating. And maybe one or two issues that I have issues is the pitch for the Group A match. I don't think it's up to scratch, but the others in terms of the fans and everything for me has been great.
All right, okay. In terms of officiating, I think we have one Ghanaian, Daniel Ayew, who is officiating, and he officiated his first game. That was Tunisia's game. How will you assess him?
I think Daniel Ayew is like the Abedi Pele of Ghana refereeing, whether you like it or not. I mean, he comes from a long tradition of referees. He even has his younger brother, who is also a referee now. So, and he's also one of the few African referees who were first trained with the whole VAR thing. So, and I think he did quite well in the game. There were 1 or 2 issues there, but I don't think there were a number of big calls that he can hand around his neck and say, so we can give him credit. We can just continue to push and hope that he one day referees at the World Cup.
Right. On the games that have been played so far, I think that some teams that were seen as underdogs, they actually proved that indeed they could actually frustrate the big giants. And for me, that has been one of my great experience with the AFCON.
But that's like, for me, that's one of the reasons I like the AFCON. Almost every AFCON, you have 1 or 2 teams that many didn't fancy upsetting the major ones. So even when Gambia won the trophy, when Burkina Faso, kicked Ghana out of the tournament, I think in 2019 or so, they were not countries that you would usually tip to excite you or usually tip to play the kind of football they are doing now. But there are those countries that do well. And I would say they do well because they've cracked the code when it comes to playing the AFCON. Ghana has still not cracked it. And it's the reason why we are not going to win the AFCON soon, because I would say in AFCON, you don't need a team of stars. And that was the mistake Ivory Coast made when they had the likes of Drogba and those things. You need a team of decent players who are hungry and committed enough to say, we are going here to do something. We still don't have it. Our players, they just go, Charlie. Yeah, for coach Vince account. Then we still haven't. The day the Ghana national team realized that what we need is hunger, determination, and a little bit of individual brilliance. Trust me, we win the AFCON.
Abrantipa, you were talking about the teams so far. So if you look at the tournament, which team has surprised you the most?
I think Cape Verde. I did not expect them to play like the way they have been playing, and for me, that has been the team that has stood out for me. I like the way they play. They play with determination. It's like a collective team. When you see them on the field of play, I mean, yesterday I was watching the 2 games simultaneously. Sometimes when I hear. Then I switch, and I can decide to watch them for 5 minutes before I go and watch the Ghana game. just to, you know, cool down.
like
you're watching the Ghana match and it's not pleasing and it's upsetting you, and so you want something to cool off. Then you go and watch that game, you know. So Cape Verde has really done well for me. I think that South Africa's previous the last game that they played, you know, the one they scored 4-0, right? Before that, they had not won a game. They had not even scored at all. And that game, if you see, that's the kind of spirit that I wanted to see from the Black Stars. You could see that the Bafana, they were hungry for success. And even when they were 2 goals up, they were not sleeping. They were still pushing. So if we don't get that level of attitude, it will be difficult. So for me, the first team is Cape Verde. And then the South Africa, the 4-0 win, I think also stood out for me.
Okay. So we've discussed the best team so far, or the most surprising team so far. So Perez, I wouldn't ask you the worst team.
Because you know his answer.
The worst team is the
I know he's going to mention Ghana.
No.
Perez, prove us wrong.
No, I can't prove you. I answer my freely. Ghana and Nigeria are the worst teams in the planet. It's not the result. Forget the result. They play the 3 teams that play the worst football that I've watched so far. Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast. And Ivory Coast is better than the other 2. Ghana, Nigeria, we should continue the Jollof war and the... See, I saw 2. The football is bad.
All right, so with that, let's delve into the Black Stars. What do you think isn't right with the Black Stars right now?
I think when you ask me what's wrong with the Black Stars right now, there are a lot of things. Almost everything that should go right for a football team to excel is going wrong for the Black Stars. I think in terms of quality, I don't think we have the best of players. Question is, do we have enough to... Are they as bad as they've shown in the tournament? No. But are they good enough compared to those we have previously? No. Okay. So you can't compare this team to the Asians and the Asamoahs and the others. But you also look at the general standard of play on the African continent, and you think that they should be doing better than they are doing. The other thing that is also not going well is the coach, Hassan. And this is something that I said even before he was appointed. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations around Chris Hughton, and I did not like Chris Hughton purely on 2 things. On a matter of principle, I don't like defensive-minded coaches. So if you ask my top 10 coaches, I'm never going to mention Jose Mourinho because I feel he's played negative football. So any coach who lives and breathes negative football, defensive football, I'm empowers him. And that's the reason why I didn't like Chris Hughton. Secondly, we made a mistake, and whoever engineered the appointment of Chris Hughton did Ghana a great disservice, because if you know the Black Stars team currently, you were never going to vouch for, never going to push for a defensive-minded coach, because the strength of this team lies in the offense. And when you are looking at a coach, when you're appointing a coach for a team, you need to consider what is he bringing to the table that will lead to you, or that will lead to the development of the strength of the team. That will help you strengthen or capitalize or explore the strength of the team. You bring in a defensive coach for an offensive-minded team. That's why we go into games and his plan is not to concede. So instead of making sure he sets up the team in a way to score more goals, he's setting up the team in a way not to concede more goals, because that is how he's been brought up. That's the kind of football he lives and breathes. All his life as a player, the Scottish team or the Irish team, they were typical British teams in different wingers. So as a player, he was defensively minded. As a coach, it's the same thing. Newcastle, Brighton, all the teams he's coached, you can never vouch for Chris Hughton as a coach who will take the initiative, or whose team will go out and say, you can win a match. We know. DS is not to lose. And when you look at the Black Stars team currently, even our defense, it's not solid enough. So what you have to do is that set up the team in a way that ensures that they maximize the strength of the team. So you have wingers who are scoring. If you have wingers who have pace, you have wingers who can drift into midfield and even play as midfielders. How do you ensure that Namibia and Namibia are scoring us 2, can score them 5? That's the kind of Ghana should be playing now. We should not be playing a team that we should not be a team that struggles to create chances. We should be creating but also conceding. But we went for a coach whose first priority is not to concede. And that's the kind of problem. And that's why, even against Namibia, against teams like Comoros, you're playing a double pivot of two defensive midfielders, because for the coach, he also conceded. But this team should be scoring and conceding, because your centre backs, they are okay, but they are not solid. Our full backs, they are okay. They are not. If you want to play defensive-minded, play defensive football, these are not the materials. And unfortunately, we went with a coach who has been brought up or on principle likes to defend, and that's the result we saw.
Okay, Arantipa, if you look at Perez's, opinion, he's basing it on the quality we have and the appointment of Chris.
I think the other factor that I failed to mention is that in terms of attitude, we are still not there. A lot of the things we saw in the Black Star, we can blame the coach and staff, but when you have players who are hungry, when you have players who are determined, and when you have players who aspire to achieve things, we didn't have seen a lot of them.
I know. Before you come, I know teams have psychologists. Do we have?
There is no bigger motivation than players
themselves.
Because you see, for the Black Star, especially this team, you only bring in a psychologist where you feel like mentally they are down and need to be helped.
But on the field of play, you see that they are down.
They are not down.
But
they are just not interested.
So what is causing the disinterest? Because see, I'm struggling to understand why he mentioned that the coach is defensive-minded. But if you look at the defense itself and how we played, there is a problem.
There is a very big weakness. The biggest weakness of this team is the defense. And it's not down to structure or offense, it's down to personnel. They are just not so, no matter how hard you try to set them up to defend well, you are still going to see a Dennis Odoi who will not be able to track back because he just doesn't have the pace to track back. You are still going to have a Gideon Mensah who will switch off in certain moments of the game because he has concentration issues. These things you can't address. They are personal. It's he, the player, who has to address these things. You are still going to have a player like Mohamed Salisu who will switch off or who will lose concentration in the course because he has not played for a long time. So at some point in the game, fatigue sets in. Now Adriana shift kakra. So the least impact.
Isn't it not Salisu who says he was not tired?
No, so one guy can say tired. So you see, the problems in our team do not allow for the coach to play the kind of football he wants to play. And he did not realize it. And
yeah, because if really that's the case, then it is up to the coach to turn things around by getting the players that will suit.
Namoe.
So, Ghana, yesterday we threw away 2 goals. We drew against Mozambique 2-2. And looking at the group right now, Cape Verde have already qualified with 7 points. And Egypt finished second with 3 points. Ghana third with 2 points. And then Mozambique with 2 points. So looking at the group right now, we can say Egypt have qualified, Cape Verde have qualified. Now Ghana will rely on technicalities to qualify to the round of 16. We will come and discuss the technical aspects and how Ghana could qualify to the round of 16 after this break.
Everyone needs the perfect snack to munch on during a fun moment. Wow. Enjoy the tasty McBerry Twist cupcakes, deliciously baked and packaged for a sweet treat. Premium quality cakes baked with love for all, enriched in butter and milk.
Yummy.
Oh, McBerry Twist cupcakes, simply irresistible. Try one today. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. We are still discussing the AFCON 2023. It's been an exciting tournament, and we are discussing the Black Stars and how things are going and how Black Stars could qualify from the group, although we have 2 points after 3 games. Arantipa, before we do the calculation and the permutations and everything, if you look at the Black Stars, who will you pinpoint that this player is my worst player in the team?
There was this number 7 fair guy who was not featured? Ransford. I think the day he played, that was Cape Verde. His performance was not the best. And I like the fact that when Ghanaians complained, he was benched, because you would not want to frame the anger. Even though I have always said that sometimes players do not get the good day. So when you do that, it's either it dampens their spirit or it can encourage them. So you should know how to go about it so that the next time they'll be able to excel. I was not surprised about the performance of Inaki Williams, because throughout the qualifiers, I saw his performance, and but the issue is that when he leaves the Black Stars and goes to his club, he's able to excel. So really, what's the problem? That's what I don't understand. So we will need to look at that. But I don't want to say I don't want to categorize him as part of those who were worse. I think that probably he did not get the supply that he wants, and that the worst thing of it is that instead of he scoring goals for us or pushing forward, he will give a back pass which landed, not so good. So yeah, now back pass near that. So for me, I think that he did not have a good day on the pitch. Even though our goalkeeper did some saves, classic. There were some times that he actually came for us. You could notice that he showed that he was in charge. But I think that in most cases, he let us down. For instance, our last game against Mozambique, that error is unthinkable. Like, if you want to catch the ball, catch it. If you don't want to catch it, let it go. That is what cost us. You understand? So for me, I think that, these players, and even though some people criticized Jordan, I think that this tournament he has actually done well. Our second game, he actually did well. Kudus was the man of the match, but you notice that Jordan did not mess up, and being able to take 2 penalties and scoring them. It's not easy to score penalties, and 2 penalties in a game. So I think that Jordan did well, but for worst performance, I'll give it to Ransford. I think Ransford.
There's been a whole conversation about
you and I know that. Had it not been the sake of experience, Dede is not. He was not informed. Why, you get it? That so on a regular day, he is there because he is experienced, because he's a captain, and probably because he needed to set that record. Which I think that if that was the case, probably yesterday, the time that he came, it was too early. Bring him when it's a minute, let him come and set his record and go. So he was not terrible, but then again, my expectations were not high, knowing that he has not been his best. Age is catching up. So obviously, I will not say that he was terrible.
There's conversation that he needs to retire after this tournament.
Definitely. What else? What else? As captain the Black Stars, we won't take anything away from Dede. Under 20, the World Cup, he was fantastic. And Dede has been very, very, very phenomenal. In fact, if you look at the games that Ghana has played, he shows commitment. He is the one who encourages the team. What I say, so let's not belittle whatever he has done. I've heard people say his captaincy has not been the best because the AFCON, we've been eliminated at the group stages and all of that. Fine, that's a fact. But Dede has been a fantastic player. I agree with the people saying that at this point, it is time for him to, retire from national assignment and focus on the team. 34, he's done his best. Sometimes, you say there's this Canada, yeah, Obano and Kwa Uji so. What I say, the AFCON or Yajin so the best is for him to, you know, yeah.
Perez, the whole conversation about Ayew being the worst Black Stars captain ever. Do you agree?
I don't. Maybe if you say ever, then we have to look at all those who have captained the Blasters, compare their numbers and stuff. But if you look at recent years from, let's say from 2006 coming, and his records as a captain in tournaments, maybe perhaps befit the description that people are giving, because we've played 9 matches. He's gone to 3 AFCONs, 2019, 2021, and 2023, and we won only 1 game. Yeah. So out of 9, we've won only 1. And either lost or draw 8. And in all those, his best finish as a captain has been the round of 16, where we lost to Tunisia. So you look at that, and it's a terrible record, and it doesn't speak well of him. And it still makes you question the decision to make him the captain at the time that Coach Kwesi Appiah did, especially for the rumored reasons around it, because it didn't make sense then, and it's something that we should have allowed. The transition could have been done without all this fury and this controversy around it. But I don't think Ayew as a person is a bad captain, is a bad leader. No. If you speak to some of the guys who won under 22 up, and so some of them, the likes of Sambo, they still call him captain. They still call him Dajman. Whenever they are talking about it, they still call him captain. And for players who have achieved a lot in their careers, to still refer to Ayew as captain tells you how much of a great leader he was. But the time he became the Blasters captain, in terms of quality, we were not great. I don't think we've also been lucky with coaches. So you can't just blame him alone as the main person behind our failure. You have to look at all the other factors. But it's true that his captaincy has one of the worst in our history. Okay,
now we are about to wrap up, and this is the most important part, and I know this is what you are waiting for, the calculations. How can Ghana make it to the round of 16 with just 2 points?
But they say people have started coming home. You still want to do calculations? Like, I'm looking at the calculations. Are serious?
It's quite interesting how Ghana can qualify to the round of 16. Ghana has 2 points, and right now, today Cameroon is playing, and if you look at the fixtures, Cameroon against Gambia, that game needs to end in a draw. And then tomorrow, Ghanaians have to pray for Zambia to lose to Morocco. Perez, do you think this will happen?
When you had your time to Charlie. So, as I'm seated here, you know what's going through my mind? Imagine the calculation goes in favor of Ghana. Yeah. I want to see the mood in the camp. Whether they will jubilate or...
They'll jubilate. They'll be 30,000.
And mind you, if they qualify, they'll be $30,000.
Because they didn't sign up for winning bonus. They signed up for qualification bonus. So whether they draw or win, as long as they qualify, we'll give them 30,000 each.
But do you see it happening? Do you see it happening?
I mean,
Gambia, everything is possible.
Everything is possible, and especially look at the performance of the other teams, and it's not something I'm ruling out. Cameroon have not been great.
Yeah, they have 1 point.
They have just 1 point so far. And there's already pressure on Rigobert Song and his people to sack them. And in their camp, there are issues as with this whole Onana thing. They have not yet, sweep it under the carpet. So there are still issues in the Cameroonian camp. So it's possible that they might lose. And if they do, Ghana...
If they lose, it means Gambia will qualify because Gambia will have 3 points. So that game needs to end in a draw.
It's possible. And Gambia have also not been too great as well. They had a lot of issues prior to the tournament, and those issues have kind of clouded their performance. They've not been great. So it's possible. Algeria, if Algeria also loses...
That means Mauritius will qualify because they will have 3 points.
No, if Algeria loses, Algeria will remain on 2 points.
2 points, yeah.
Minus a goal.
Yeah.
Because now they have 2 points with no goal difference.
And Mauritius will take Algeria's place because they will have 3 points.
And there will still
Ghana have 2 points.
And there will still be a slot left.
Yeah. Okay.
There will still be a slot left.
Okay.
And that slot will have to go to Zambia.
Okay.
So it's, and if Zambia loses, Ghana goes through with just 2 points minus a goal. That's if Zambia loses with more than a goal. So challenge.
Sorry. Okay. Press, please repeat it again. Break it down one after the other so that the viewers can really understand how the permutation is. Let me give you the third place table right now. So the ranking, Ivory Coast are leading the third place table with 3 points. Namibia second, 3 points. Algeria fourth, 2 points. Zambia 2 points. Ghana fifth, 2 points, and then Cameroon sixth with 1 point.
So what will happen? What needs to happen for Ghana to qualify is that Cameroon, Algeria, and Zambia all need to lose tomorrow.
Okay.
If they all lose, Algeria and Zambia will be on 2 points. As it stands, they have 2 points with 0 goals.
Okay.
If they lose tomorrow by a 2-goal margin or more, they will have 2 points minus either 2 goals or more. Even if they lose by a 1-goal margin, we'll still have to do a lot of calculations for Ghana to go through. Okay. So for it to be simpler for Ghana to qualify, Algeria and Zambia need to lose for more than 2 goals.
By more than 2 goals.
Okay. Now, once they do that, and Cameroon also lose, Cameroon, they just need to lose, whether by a goal mark, because they already have 1 point.
Okay.
So once they lose, then
we are
FC,
you've heard the calculations. They say miracles do happen.
Oh yes, miracles happen. Miracles happen. I don't want to say Mozambique had a miracle because I think that they were very focused. Yeah. They wanted to prove a point. Okay. But other than that, what happened yesterday was a miracle. In fact, 90 minutes, and then when everybody thought that it was extra time, just say, oh boy, ni ta ta ta, nah, but yes, miracles do happen. Yeah. I think that for now, and today I was saying in the newsroom, there's a WhatsApp group that I'm in, and someone mentioned that even if the Black Stars progress, which this was at the time we were leading by 2-0, that our performance, we don't deserve to be in the knockout stage because we have been terrible. Yeah. But I think that it will be a great consolation if Ghana should qualify, if all these teams that Perez has mentioned, if they lose. And that
but who will support them? Because the supporters, they're already on their way
that's
back.
That's where the miracle can come in. Because if Blasters are able if Blasters are able to qualify, which is like 2%, like because for this person to lose this, it's a calculation in Wamame. But let's assume Blasters qualify. I think it could be a way to turn the narratives. It could be that psychological push that when I asked Perez if we had a psychologist, that the players could say, yo, we've been sitting down, messing up, conceding silly goals and all that. So this is the time for us to show something. At least, even if we show a certain level of attitude that we are ready to play all out and we lose. There have been games that Blasters have played, teams that you support, and they have lost. And you are happy that they lost, not because you wanted them to win, but because on the field of play, they actually played like they were ready, and that it's just that the odds didn't favor them and they lost. That's what we want to see. Sometimes, if we played like the way Cape Verde has been playing, and we were, we lost, people will see that there has been some level of improvement in the way we play. But this one, we are just there like as if nothing is at stake. And almost when you win, the way people will celebrate,
See, the thing is that what you want the Black Stars to do, it's something they've not done in like 10 years. We've never seen hunger, attitude, desire from the...
It's hunger never done.
Ember! Because you see, the psyche, and this thing, I don't like zeroing it down to the Black Stars alone. It's a whole national thing. The whole idea of patriotism, the whole idea of being something for the country. It's dead. Not in the Black Stars alone, but across the country. And that's why I always don't like whenever people bring up this money issue when it comes to the Black Stars. No minister or nobody does anything in this country with the interest of the country at heart. We all want to find our way around the system and rob the country of the literates. But when it comes to the Black Stars, we preach patriotism. It doesn't work. The players, they just don't have it.
I just wish that the level of support we give the Black Stars, we give that to the women national team. Their performance have been very, very, it's exciting when you watch them play, the outcome. We can win by 7-0 and all of that. And that's not to say that the opponent was weak. You see the determination and then the teamwork. I think that perhaps but sometimes somebody somewhere would have to listen and know that we are getting the thing here.
Alright, so we should invest.
I say
So we should invest in women's football, and this year we have 2 women's competitions that we will be rooting for the women's national team. The Black Queens will play in the AFCON in Morocco mid this year, and then later this year the under-20 Black Princesses will also play at the under-20 FIFA World Cup. So we are hoping that what has happened to the Black Stars won't happen to our women's national team. I hope you've enjoyed the discussion so far. Let me know your comments under the comment section. Like the video and then share. And make sure you pray, because we are all praying. Today, the first game is 5 p.m. Gambia and then Cameroon. We are all supporting Gambia to win or draw. So that's Group C fixtures. And Gambia playing Cameroon, and then Guinea will also play Senegal. And 8 p.m. 2 games will be played simultaneously, and that will be Group D. Angola will take on Burkina Faso, and Mauritania will also take on Algeria. We are supporting Mauritania in that game. So please be praying and fasting today. We are hoping that our enemies, we have one victory over our enemies. The Nigerians are already trolling us, so we need a comeback today. My name is Emmanuel Enin, and I did this with Perez Ezwakwao and then Abrantipa. See you in the next edition.